If you run an online business, then chances are that at some point in the future, you're going to hit a phase where you can't scale past a certain point. Or if you run an online business, which is already stuck at a certain revenue level for a few months, maybe even years, then keep watching this video, because in this video, I'm going to tell you 3 most typical reasons for why online service-based businesses get stuck, and 3 best, most sure ways on how you can break past that plateau and essentially keep growing in a very healthy and consistent manner. What makes this video so special is I'm going to take a business of a friend of mine and I'm going to bring you that as a case study. Actually, I'm recording this video for a friend and he hasn't even seen this video yet, right? Because we spoke about his business. I didn't give him any specific input, and I'm recording this video now and I'm going to send him this video to kind of like tell him what he needs to fix in this business. So this video is a perfect example to kind of like have a sneak peek at how I think about businesses. And in case you don't know who I am, my name is Nazim. In the last 10 years, I've made my clients over $40 million in years, and all of my clients are service-based businesses and they all operate online, which is how I also got the 10x back from ClickFunnels. But essentially, I'm going to tear that business down, come up with 3 most typical reasons for why they might be stuck, and 3 definitive solutions for how they can scale past 100K. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do like a whole whiteboard breakdown on my screen, graph everything, and yeah, man, let's go on a rip, and I'll show you everything that's wrong and might be wrong with your business and how to fix it. All right, let's talk about how to escape the 100K per month hell. Well, it's not really hell. It's a very good place to be. But if you're stuck at even 100K per month for 3 years, then it's going to feel like hell. And also on top of that, I wanted to say one more thing, that this is video going to be relevant for you, even if you're not making 100K per month, but less money than that. If you're making, let's say, 30 to 50K per month or so, most likely you have a similar problem. Maybe not 30, maybe like 50K to 100K. Most likely you have a similar problem. So let's start off. As like I said, I was inspired to record this video from a client example. So let's talk about their kind of like business and what they do, give you context into what they're offering and how I would fix it. So these guys offer done for you email marketing, and they charge 1.5K per month, right? So that's their offer. And the first problem is that their churn is high, right? The churn is very high. I think the churn of clients typically happens at about 3 months in, right? This is a bottleneck number 1, because with a high churn, your customer lifetime value, CLTV, is low. And if your customer lifetime value is low, well, you can't scale that much because you're not making enough money per client. And also at the same time, you have to spend more money on advertising because you have to always get new clients. Actually, the offer at 1.5K per month, you could also, let me mark it with orange. It's not quite the red flag, but I would say it's an orange flag, because it's not a big AOV at 1.5K per month, right? That they basically enroll people up front with. If it's okay, this is a green flag if your churn is low, but if your churn is high, this impacts the customer lifetime value. It's a con. And then also their industry, just because that's also important for context, their industry is working with agencies, right? Now, for me, agencies is also kind of like if not a red flag, but it's an orange flag, because I just don't think it's a very good, it's an oversaturated market for what they offer, right? And they offer email marketing, right? So they essentially do email marketing as a way to get leads, right? It's quite a simple offer, and it's done for you. Now, let's talk about, again, the cons of this entire system a bit more extensively, right? So I'm going to write a big thing here that says cons. And the first con is that, again, it's got very low LTV, lifetime value, right? The problem with low lifetime value is there's multiple problems. Number 1, you don't have a budget to reinvest into your growth, to invest in growth. And like it always goes in advertising, in case you didn't know, the advertiser, not with the best product, but with the most advertising budget win. Okay, let me put it this way. A good product is still very important, but typically if you put side by side relatively uh, you know, products with relatively similar quality, if someone has a higher budget, they'll simply dominate the market. When you're not making a lot of money per client, and you're also not charging a lot of money for what you do, then the problem is that you simply don't have enough money to reinvest back in advertising. And this kind of like in a very evil closed circuit way feeds into the next problem, which is you have to get a lot of clients. Because guess what? You don't make enough money per client. The client participation lasts only 3 months. So that means with a higher churn, you have to replace clients all the time, have to get clients a lot, right? And that's another big problem, right? That low LTV creates. And I'm just looking at my workbook here. What else? What else? That's it. These are two pretty big problems, right? You don't have money to invest to get clients, and you have to always get new clients. Creates a perpetual negative cycle that feeds into itself. It's kind of like a chicken and egg. You don't even know uh, what to solve because these problems are interconnected. Now, another problem is the industry. The industry is also a problem because it's oversaturated. And then there's another problem that I'll write before I forget is the delivery. I'll get to this in a second. So industry is oversaturated, right? Agency market, their typical, annual revenue (AR), I would say is for a typical agency is less than 100K. And again, these guys are not working with big name agencies. These guys are working with internet based businesses, right? So they can afford to pay for your services, which is actually feeds into the problem even more. And also because you can't get them good results, which is the point number 3, the delivery, it feeds again into the whole thing, right? So the problem number 3 is that it's very hard to deliver, which is why the churn rate is so high. Oh my God, what happened? Yeah. Which is why the churn rate is so high here. It's very hard to deliver, right? And it also requires um, big team, big team, or or complex tech to get done. I'm talking about strictly email marketing. And also one more thing I forgot to tell you guys is these guys, they're making 100K per month and they're serving about 50 clients, they said. Maybe even if it's even more, right? I know when you multiply 50 by 1.5, it makes 75K. So I guess some clients they're charging a bit more than that, but sorry, and I shouldn't have put. It's not 50K, it's 50 clients. 50 clients. Now imagine the tech and the staff you have to hire to deliver for 50 clients on a done for you basis, right? It's extremely hard to deliver, and it's also complex, which also, guess what, requires money for fulfillment, and you don't have the money because your churn is high and your offer is low. Now, let's talk about the solutions. Guys, if you're looking at this, watching this, just implement it. I'm talking to you guys whose business I talk about. I'll keep the business name out of the video to retain anonymity, right? So there's multiple solutions that you guys can implement to figure this out. So right, so solution number 1 is increase prices, right? At least by 2 or 3x. Now, what it's going to allow you to do is reinvest more money into ads and marketing, which will allow you to get more clients, right? But this is not the most optimal solution because the problem is your churn is high. So this means before you can ever increase your prices, you have to solve delivery. So if you want to keep the same offer, keep the same industry, you'll have to solve your delivery so that your churn rate is not so high. And as you have noticed, the three solutions that I'll bring is either increase prices, change industry, or change the service. And I'll discuss all three in this video. So again, the benefit of increasing prices is that you can invest into marketing and you manage to solve this bottleneck. You'll be able to get a bigger team, and essentially you'll break out of this loop where you're essentially spending everything that you make and you can't reinvest into to hyper grow. The thing is, you're capped. You have to break out of the ceiling, right? So let's say this is kind of like the can, right? And you've been here for the longest time. You've been here, right, in this kind of like place. But to break out, you need to invest money to kind of like extra, like a surplus. You have to invest surplus to break out of the thing, right? And that's only possible if you, spend more money. So that's number one. Number two, let's have a look. Number two is you can change the product, right? Change product. Which means, give me a sec. No, actually, I am sorry about that. We're not there yet. The next step is change the niche, right? So when it comes to changing the niche, what it's going to help you tackle is this issue right here, the industry issue, right? Because you're in a very oversaturated market, because a bunch of internet marketers like you feel very comfortable targeting with a bunch of other internet-based businesses such as online agencies. But if you change your industry, then you will shoot two birds with one stone. Poor birds. You will escape an oversaturated market. You'll also it'll probably be a lot easier for you to deliver. What I mean by that is you stop offering your services, don't for your marketing lead gen services to agencies, and you offer it to someone else, right? So essentially change niche, and you move to profitable niches, move to other niches. What kind of examples can I give? You can target bigger businesses, like real actual businesses. I mean, you can target factories, you can target big IT firms. The good thing here is that the marketing mechanism that you'll implement for those clients is going to be same. And maybe acquiring those clients is going to be a little bit difficult on the front in the beginning, because you have to do the tinkering, you have to realize or understand what's the best way to reach out to them, because targeting other internet-based businesses, agencies is simple. They're quite aware about internet marketing world, right? So you can talk to them more easily, they apply more easily, but also the problem is that everybody else targets them, right? But if you target bigger businesses, right, more established businesses, well, approaching them might be a little bit more difficult on the front end. Maybe not if you manage to utilize the power of ads and funnels, but the bonuses, or like the upsides, are huge. Number one, you'll have, what's wrong with this pen? Why is it not writing in black? Number one, you'll have increased AOV. You'll be able to charge more money for your services. Imagine you're targeting a factory that literally makes $2 million a year versus the Schmo or the Mark or John who makes 100K per year with his agency. If there's a Schmo on the internet who runs an agency, makes 100K per year, no offense, you're doing great, right? But I'm talking about making recommendations to my friends here, to help them do better with their agency. So increase AOV and then LTV also. Why? A part of LTV is basically what dictates LTV is essentially earnings per client, but then also churn, right? So if you have high earnings and low churn, well, you have a high customer lifetime value. You have a bunch of people that pay you more money and leave you less often. It's basically like a super dumbed down way to explain it. It's the only way to explain it, right? Again, in their context. So if they change the niche, they manage to crack it because there's a risk. Yeah, you have to hard to crack. And, you could say, I wouldn't say like it's super difficult, but it's going to take time. It's going to take a bit of time to crack into this new niche, which you can do. You can create like what do you call it? Spec ops or like special ops team dedicated, a workforce dedicated to cracking into other niches, right? And once you figure out delivery for one or two clients in that niche, then you can replicate it. But it takes a bit of time. Or again, you can harness the power of ads and automations. So that's number 2, change niche. And then number 3 is changing product. Change product. What that means. What does that mean? So when it comes to changing the product, you don't change the niche, but you change the product. So same niche, but a different way, different delivery or product. What does that mean? So instead of offering done for you services, we offer DIY or done with you. Let me tell you a quick story about a friend of mine and how using this advice, I helped him scale his business from making 2 or 3K per month to over 40K per month. And this business is based in Czech Republic. So 40K per month in Czech Republic is like 100K pretty much, or 200K in the US. So my friend, he used to run a Facebook ads business. So he was essentially offering done for you ads to personal trainers, right? The problem with done for you ads was that he was stuck at like 5-6K per month. He had, say, 4 or 5 clients, right? And each paid him $1,000 per month. The problem was that he was selling to personal trainers. The churn was high because they didn't really know how to talk to clients, and he always had to hustle. It's also very time consuming. So then I told him, look, you literally do the same thing over and over, which is what he did. He would literally take coaches, bio, right, and pop it into a Facebook ad template and run it to a similar funnel with a slightly different branding. I said, why don't you teach them how to do it, right? So why don't you package it into DIY course plus do live coaching with them to answer, like their biggest questions, and then also do accountability work with them. Funny enough, and I know, guys, it's very strange how the world works. I sometimes lose sleep over understanding it myself. But somehow he went from charging 1K per month for done for you ads work to charging, I think at a peak it was 2K per person. Right? So he actually charged more money up front for them to do it themselves. But here's why he was able to do that. Because when you're selling a product or a program, it's a tangible. You're selling a system, right? And people always value systems or products over agency services. When you're saying, hey, I will do something for you, the person, essentially, the biggest questions the person has is, hey, are you competent? Have you done this for other people, etc., etc.? Everything is diverted to you. But when you sell a system or a product, it's enough to show that it's worked for other people, right? And then it's just a matter of them repeating or replicating the system, right? And you also have to do a very good job of selling the thing. And I have a bunch of sales related content on my YouTube channel. Just go to my YouTube search and put sales and a few videos will come up. But essentially, he was selling tangible system, right? And then the argument is also here that I'll teach you the system once and you can do it forever, right? Or for as long as, let's say, Facebook exists. But this, I have to pay every month. Jesus Christ, right here. Hey, I hand off the system to you once, the know-how, and you can do it forever. And guess what happened? He literally went from only being tied to working with 4 or 5 clients at 1K per month. He was now enrolling right from the bat 3 to 5 clients, and he was making the same money, 5K per month, but it was like way more scalable. All he had to do is close the people on the phone, hand off their core details, and get on 2 coaching calls per week, hour each, and that was it. Here, this was a full-time job. Client communication, management, blah, blah, all that. Here, this was like 2 to 3 hours a week, minus the sales calls. Now, and then obviously we hired salespeople for him. We started ramping up the ads. And also for salespeople, it's also easier to sell productized services than services, right? Service-based services or products. And this is how I basically help them to scale. And this is your opportunity or your chance to do it too. So you don't change the niche, you keep it with agencies, but you productize what you're right now doing for your clients, which is email marketing, and you show other agencies how to use email marketing to get clients for themselves. That's the third thing you can do, right? So again, going back to the drawing board and creating a summary of this video. The problem is you're charging 1.5K per month for 50 clients. Sounds good on paper, but you're in this catch-22 scenario where you basically eat what you make, which is cool, I guess. You're making quite a bit of money. 100K per month on paper is not bad, but taxes, personal, take-home income, employees, basically eat it all up, and you're stuck in this cycle where you can't. Where is the thing that I drew? I think did I erase it? I erased it. Yeah, you're stuck in this kind of like loop where you can't break past the ceiling, and you need this supra extra like income, right, to help you boost through the ceiling. But you have problems. You can because you have a very low lifetime value of a client, which does not allow you to even save up enough money to break past the ceiling. And I'm talking about having extra in marketing budget, like 10 to 20K minimum, right, to figure this out, right? So it's not like, oh, you kind of like tighten the ropes 1 month, you save up 3K and okay, now you're ready. No, I'm talking about 10 to 20K that you can spend experimenting, trying to break free from your current systems, and then the design and invent a new system. Then another problem is that just the delivery part is too difficult for you, right? And this is for you also, right? If you're making 100K per month, look at these 3 things, right? Is your AOV and LTV too low? Are you serving an oversaturated industry? And then how's the delivery? Is it like super difficult and people clients leave all the time because they don't get good results which further contributes to churn rate? In that case, you have 3 options, 3 solutions. You either increase prices, you change the niche and offer the same thing but to a more financially viable, capable audience, or the one to a market that's less saturated, which will take a bit of tweaking and tinkering, but in the end, if you figure it out, you'll literally put your business in a whole different direction, positive course. Or you change the product. I've seen this so many times. It's almost turned into a meme or a joke. Like, you don't get good results with your service or like with your agency, or you get okay results, like you're making maybe 20, 30K per month, and then you turn it into coaching and now you're making 200K per month. I literally had 3 of my clients, three of my clients literally go from 200-300K per year to $2 to $3 million per year minimum by doing this change. That's it, guys. I have it on a platter for you. And always, I know you appreciate my chicken scratches, but take this advice to heart. If you like it, go to nazimconsulting.com. I will help you implement any of these three that make most sense for you. And then if you don't know what the hell is the problem in your business, but you still can't scale, still go to nazimconsulting.com and I'll help you figure out the issue and then find a solution. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.